recorded in you forever on Faraday.
On and on it goes, for untold hours. At the disco where you first asked her to dance. Rising.
Behold, there are millions of them down there. The first time, the last time. The smoke in her mouth, the plotted flowers, the faces turning, changing.
It's the world, Harry boy, and you're made of it. Every day you're out there, you make more of yourself from it. I'm afraid you can't be unmade now. You can never forget this shit.
Beautiful. It's stuck on loop, whirling, spitting out words and images.
You're the son of the world again. Harrister, a ceaseless agent. Picking up litter and old newspapers. Collecting your little bubblegum wrappers and idiotic picture postcards. Meaningless keepsake.
Reading your awful letters and recalling things, aren't you? The endless names of the world. An address book you are. The map of a city.
You'll go insane if you keep going like this. One more day, and you'll be in the loony bin.
For the money, baby. For the greater good.
Solving your little crossword puzzles. Doing your tasks. Crossing names off lists. Trying to become some sort of world detector.
Are you sure? You could be closing the door on a brilliant and special future for yourself.
Did you hear that? He's renouncing politics. He's strictly business.
Just another thoughtless vessel, ploughing the grey seas of every day.
Beep, beep, beep. The alarm is ringing, Harry. The disco circus goes...
You can do it. It's nothing. Do it for the wind. An old mirror hangs on.
Our tenant, the police...
That's one brutal motor carriage.
If I were a real skull now, I'd jack it, paint it in palm tree livery, then bottom light it. Neat.
A snazzy shit-ripped skullmobile like this would make a fine trophy.
Yeah, tribal shit. A cot carriage like this would have proper skull
While I appreciate the interest you take in my brutal motor carriage, I have to stop you right there. The RCM takes threats directed at its property.
It's just theoretical work, cop.
I can tell you who we're not, cop. We're not snitches or skulls.
Which is not to say that the skulls are bitches and...
The part of this presentation you want to take home with you, cop man, is we're not part of the skulls.
Oh yeah, Cindy's a right proper skull.
Yeah, a true artist of the future, just like Arno van Eyck.
By the way, if you see Cindy, give her our regards.
The lieutenant on your left is unusually lenient to...
Oh man, yeah, we're not fucking kids, man.
Be wary of the abyss.
It's a threat. An impotent threat of violence.
That's right. You...
This is ridiculous. Boys, do you know why the gang is called Skulls?
Yeah. The skull symbolizes the embrace of death and nothingness.
They're called Skulls because when you are shot dead in the middle of the street, the skull is the only part the stray dogs want to eat.
Just trust me and follow my lead. No reply. The blonde rebel scratches his chin, deliberately not focusing his gaze on anything. The other one shuffles uncomfortably, nevertheless continuing to steal glances at the lieutenant's motor carriage.
The Union does their share of policing in Martinez, at least where gangs are concerned. That's why there isn't much organized crime around here.
Apart from the unions themselves, of course.
Don't you worry about that. We're gonna make up for the deficit.
Yeah, we are. We're not franchise skulls. Well, not yet. Once we get our name out there, we'll have a chance to join them.
But in a non-threatening and definitely legal way.
We'll fuck the system from the inside later. Just be cool now.
Right on, fuck. Mm-hmm.
Murder? Yeah, sure. We'll gladly tell you.
Also, he was hanged. He was hanged from a...
Yeah, I mean...
These punks don't know anything.
Hey! Stop right there! How does one know anything?
Fucking philosophy, man. You can do a... What about them? Well, first off, it's a statement and not necessarily something that characterizes me as a person, even though the statement has character. And I do like piss. The word piss epitomizes the struggle taking place in the world. Things being defined as they seem, not as they are. And, I guess, it's also, you've got to admit, it catches the eye. And since the Grand Piper is slowly but steady, what I mean by this is, we are...
Like I said before,
I'm wondering if the poetics come with the...
To catch a fish, you'll need to hurl the lure many times, and you get more fish in a shorter time. And... for time is of the essence and fleeting ever so quick. Because when one...
Is it a coincidence that here we have 2 badass jackets and 2 badass cops?
Yes? What is? What are you implying? I'm not sure I understand you, Detective. Neither. Fine, if only to end this discussion. Theoretically, if I were a juvenile delinquent, if I were to already be down that path, I think peace is the stronger of the two statements. Seems about right, especially considering your...
So are we done here? Or... you don't need us around for your secret... That ride is...
Hey, piss. Look who it is. Shrunken cophead material.
These guys aren't scary.
Why?
Don't ask anything. Be subtle and scary. The boys dream about being skulls. Suggest they're massive skulls. Come on.
What? No. Skulls don't have kings. I think.
Yeah, man, keep your voice down. Skulls don't...
Wow, you boys are ambitious. Only prospects and already planning a coup in the skulls. You're destined to go far.
He gets it. Passive-aggressive flattery.
Shut the fuck up. Are you trying to get us killed?
Now bring it to the jackets and, yes, start shouting.
Please be quiet. What? What do you want? The jackets?
You got it. No need for cruelty.
Oh, man. Okay, I get it. Skulls don't really wear slogans anyway.
Fuck.
The lieutenant watches the boys take their jackets off with mild amusement.
I'm absolutely okay with not having either one, thank you. I already am.
I'm not. I don't have a jacket anymore.
Good. I wanted you not to express yours.
Cold-hearted cop.
Do. I'm fine.
The jackets are meant to complete each other. If a man...
I don't know, Eric. It's cold out.
Yeah, let's get out of here. The cops fucked us.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man.
The man before you is naked, but
We should have a look at that belt before we even consider taking...
the hangman's knot is put... Oh my, there's something on the belt. Vermilion, in yellow letters, along the length.
Extremely. Industrial strength. The kind used for tying cargo to lorries. Yes, it looks like they use whatever was on hand, paying no attention to not incriminating themselves. It's not merely polyester. It's steel reinforced. See these lines? This is where the wires run. I see rabbits for more than 20 strands. This makes getting him down much more problematic than I had assumed. A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around. That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think right now, everything seems to fit their confession.
The cadaver hangs from the cargo belt.
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some.
The cadaver the material delicate. These are clearly not boots.
Indeed. Ceramic plate. Zirconium dioxide, most likely. This is where under the hill. Fair weather. Fair weather model T500 VE. I'm guessing that's vitreous enamel. The locals probably scavenged it. It would be we should keep a lookout for these species.
The sabatons dangle off the man's decay.
It is. It's expensive. We've requested similar material for our tactical units for years now. The constabularies deemed it too costly. For a full set, about 4 years of wages. By catching, do you mean let's not log them as evidence? Let's steal them? Of course.
The lieutenant nods often. It's part of his unplastic.
He worked for Cornell, like Joyce told us. This is military equipment, provided by a wealthy security contractor.
A small bell-like sound. Suddenly your biceps coil up. Your elbow is sharp and cocked for a punch.
It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic energy horizontally, from plate to plate, dissipating it.
Faint, organic lines cover the plates, like the scales of some ancient white monster. Crack. The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt. An intricate web of his corpse is marked. Alcohol? Your fist clenches suddenly. Decay is creeping on the tattoo.
A map of the stars. I do see some similarity.
As if someone left out most of them.
So am I.
He wears a wide leather belt around his... He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open.
A Trugat Sunshine. Mini.
Shit, Kuno! What the fuck is that?
An instant color camera. I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of cut.
In case we need it. Yes, it is pretty cool, isn't it? It contains insight to the victim's person. This was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. Here, a souvenir. Don't lose it.
The glassy-eyed corpse looks by. His eyes are milky. These eyes used to be blue. Dark brown hair grows.
Good. The victim is of Occidental descent. Light brown hair. I mean white.
The corpse looks right through you as you distance yourself from its stench.
Of course, come back late.
The steel-reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought chain cutters, but I don't see a good angle of approach to the belt. The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance.
An acrobatic maneuver would solve this situation. Nothing can go wrong with a good maneuver.
Someone else? You mean like the police? Someone already did. You know, I know it's hard, but I assure you, the others won't come to help us. I have thought of that, yes. But the tire tracks would compromise the scene. Any prints would become illegible. That's it. Also, my MC has a sloped roof. It's a sports model. The roof is slippery, and all around bad platforms.
He could come up with at least 4 more reasons why not to trample on the roof of his sports model motor carriage.
How about I take you, piggyback?
The fuck are these pigs talking about?
Oh, they're bank or something. Oh, it's fucking boring, Kuno. Wish they'd fuck already.
Pig, why you gotta disrespect my girl?
Fuck that banana poika in the ass, Kuno.
I wasn't actually implying I would. I meant...
It's a fucking hilarious idea. You two puskapas get on top of each other and fuck.
In silence, the lieutenant gives you a meaningful glance, as if to say, case in point.
Yeah,
How?
Where the buckle ties the rope to the branch. That's a good spot to aim.
Where? Ah, yes, I see. If the shot hits that, there might be a chance to release the...
Yeah, now we're talking. Entertain a Kuno with some...
They'll miss! The pigs will miss Kuno!
The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He appears too deep in concentration to even notice what you said.
What else can we do?
He breathes out
Oh yeah, do this shit! Fuck it up!
silence and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches. His finger is on the trigger.
He's gonna fucking miss!
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls of the surrounding tenements. A cloud of smoke.
God damn it.
A lot of things were wrong with that shot. The fellow's test was the wrong choice. He feels bad about it. About his eyes.
Fucking...
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not fucking handicapped, is he? Kuno's sorry too.
The lieutenant doesn't say a word, just looks at the gun.
I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get...
You know, you don't feel like too bad of a shot yourself.
Yes? Yes?
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and what?
Yes, we do. It's bad as it is. Us shooting firearms like punks. Go ahead. I'm not stopping you.
They only have one gun!
This is the sorriest pair of pigs Kuno's ever seen.
Yeah, take it, you fucking banana poika!
The cold piece of bakelite and gunmetal is surprisingly light. Your fingers fit right through the guard, instinctively resting on the trigger.
The fuck are you waiting for, Kuno?
The buckle comes into focus in your sights.
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you won't miss. Or what? You gonna fuck me?
Your field of view narrows. The branch slowly moves, becoming entirely two-dimensional. The metal buckle glimmers, the slow movement of the branch in the wind, and your shoulders directing the gun's sink up, dancing hypnotically as you wait. Your breathing slows down. Some mosquito-like organism buzzes in your peripheral.
Look, he's crying. You gonna cry now, fucking faggoty?
The buckle explodes into tiny pieces. Cut with your hand, numb from the recoil. You look at the body slump down. For a moment, looking straight at you. Help.
Communism.
It takes a millisecond for the association to flash within your cortex. You have no idea where it's coming from. Only that it's right. Then the rigor in his muscles gives up, and he smashes sideways into the spring mud, letting out a horrid stench.
By being a damn good shot. Ace is high.
The lieutenant takes a little hop to perform the customary salutation. Your palm hurts from the slap. It's
I knew these guys were f***ed.
Officer, let's keep our... We will perform a field autopsy.
slumped on the ground like that as not.
The stench is getting bad. I'm sorry to interrupt the jubilations here. I would suggest we interview Everhart and Joyce, the leader of the union and the Wild Pines rep. But we've already done that, so it's up to you, detective.
The rotting man lies on his... The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the worst.
I hope we do. It's getting really late.
The kid doesn't even... The rotting man. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Come on, officer.
What you do know is...
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity. I'll ask you when I need you to.
You're being handled. If you resist now, he will turn on.
That's right.
The dead man stares in silence as above those, an 11 field info form needs filling out first.
That's you.
The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next
KK57. Dash.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and...
Next, we've heard the nom de guerre. Lely. What's next? Date NA. Roughly 50.
Dry 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side. He nods.
Mondial. Subgroup Occidental. As per your
The pudgy mess looks neither mondial nor occidental. It doesn't even look huge. As you read it, you think, that leaves out dark-haired Mesk, Sal, Sarah Mauritian, Kedratic, a solid guess, Mr. Racial Profiler. Also of note, your unconscious racial profiling machine ruled out Messinian before. Despite all the copperoonies and Kobos.
Fucky, fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex!
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
We're still going with March 4th. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10.
KK-57.
I'm not seeing anything yet, but we know there's tampering here. Write down good.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the Stations of the Breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his elsewhere yet. An obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette ball-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant MacDougall. The building is tall, 7 stories, wind-wrapped in solitude. Most of the apartments are unoccupied. This was a suicide, the other an accident. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today, 42 stations of breath.
We should start the post-mortem.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
See, it's happened.
Babrodine, yes.
The disappointment is palpable.
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing. Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a cargo lashing belt around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short. Lividity appears consistent with hanging, but is not. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head and chest, consistent with stones thrown post-mortem.
Fucking low velocity! You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity, we're talking shit about.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with ligature mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters. The hanged man lets out a joyous little bubble of rot from his nose.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully. With
See? My pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like what? The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters.
You are? You're Kuno's.
Concentrate on the belt, not on who is whose pig. There is no pig. There are After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck.
As it ought to. This is where its grip on the curdled meat is gentlest, pulling up.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia...
No! It's gonna happen, see!
I fucking knew it!
This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury. Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
Last item, hands.
His flesh is cold, ice.
Pleased to meet you. Where are you from and what I'm only fucking with you. I know where you're from. Nothing does. We should do this more often.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling. Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next? I'm afraid we can't continue before we've gone through both the external central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have any?
You don't even have a joke.
Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips. Black. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh. Like the...
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen.
No scream. No sigh of relief rise. It's hard. You taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. Inside, you see dark.
There are ancient mysteries.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus. Hepatobiliary. NA. Are you a hepatobiliary expert? Same for toxicology and serology. NA. Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there? Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing.
Brimming with...
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits lividity in the lower extremities, feet, hands, and neck. Gastrointestinal.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. What's next on the list? Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need...
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be concerned. And your opinion, officer? Agreed. Next injury? So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to...
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless...
Right. Next. Nothing. Just in case. A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side.
That's right. No clawing marks on the neck, no signs of struggle on the crime scene, and a witness statement from the perpetrator. That's it. Field autopsy done, detective. All that remains is to see if the alleged cause of death, the bullet, is truly lodged.
Oh yeah, finally. Let's get it. Don't let him ask twice. Dig it.
Seriously, I can just bag him and drive him to the morgue anytime you tell me to. No need for heroics, unless you want to.
The man is deep. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses. and takes a deep breath. Your arm reaches out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. His face, his cheeks, The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop. You're on the right track. A vision of black. You see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is an abrasion collar. The
Abrasion collar.
Kuno is silent. A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers.
The fuck is happening?
Ah, shit, see?
The basal ganglia feels clumpy. The bullet has torn apart his rib. The funk soul brother at the back of his head has gone dark forever. Your yellow fingers slide into the remains of the limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but all the muscles in your body harden. Time to enter him. Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper, until you feel it. Sharp, serrated material. The edges cut right into your skin. This must be the bullet. You pick the sharp metal bullet between your index and middle finger. The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not with a plop. Your hand emerges from the mouth, covered in blood up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower. A blossom made of lead.
Fucking beautiful!
A bullet.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. Erase it.
A non-caliber. Rifled. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact. No, you deserve it. We can log it later. We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion. High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Opinion, fatal injury. And one last thing. We should amend injury number 3, ligament mark. Treatment. It's obvious the Hardy Boys tampered with it. Oh, you really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening. Yes, we should take a close...
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day. Work on the case. Tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything today. I'll leave that choice to you.
After you bag the corpse, Lieutenant Kitsuragi will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You can do side tasks, and even the main case, but...
The bullet is safe. Beside his orderly handwriting, the bullet looks especially sad. Like...
What? Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say, find the weapon that shot me. If we find who owns it, we will have likely... In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better.
The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed. The core is lead. The brass jacket probably didn't cover the entire bullet. You can just about... It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are
What can you say about the bullet so far? Okay. Jacketed means it would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, and not from a muzzleloader like those typically found on the streets of Revachol.
We were right. This came from highly unusual. The people of Revachol haven't carried...
Even the RCM uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets.
Something tells you that won't be anytime soon. This'll have to be one of those... A rifle. Revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46mm from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably, the 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. Incidentally, you have just such a rifle with you. The dusty old thing you found hidden in the basement. No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war. So there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around. Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for the same thing you found in that hidden weapons cache.
What are you thinking? Bullet? Okay. And? An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around. I have to hand it to the monarchs. It's quite admirable that they took the advice of criminologists last century and banned the use of breech-loaders in... Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle-loaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons. But they realize it's worth it in the end.
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations.
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come up. But back to the investigation. Mysterious. Okay.
Both cables, somewhere in... The bear's eyes are still glowing red.
Yes? What do you want to know? Good.
The kid, the girl is ignored.
It's you again. What is it?
Hello, officer. I think I almost have it. A new...
Oh, hello, sweetie.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom. This medicine cabinet.
Hello, officer. What brings you up?
Let's see. I wrote down the nickname Lelystad. We have questions that might help solve some gaps in our field autopsy. I'm sure my colleague...
The young woman cranes her neck, trying to catch a glimpse of the page, the last missing pieces of a puzzle of flesh.
In Oranje, officer. It's,
The Lelystad municipality has few boroughs and even fewer cities. It's made of agricultural...
You were right, officer. He was Occidental.
Her eyes follow yours. She doesn't mind this questioning.
He was 42.
42? Are you sure?
He had many scars that made him appear older. But no. We even celebrated his birthday, like, some weeks ago.
Right again, officer.
Points are good. Have one, you old dog, before we all die. The young woman looks at you. She's clearly sensing some...
Blue. Pardon the swearing. I do him an injustice. He wasn't ugly. And he had a beautiful, soft voice. Very surprising, what with all the scarring.
He had a combat wound on his chin and mouth?
Yes. Severe. It made him...
It's clear she was very much attracted to him. She shivers slightly.
Ah, yes. His hair, if you can remember?
It was light brown, almost blonde. Oh, that. Sure, service history. It was mostly for showing off to chicks, though. How? Imagine him lying in bed. Freakish. He's smoking and drinking, of course. And his chest and shoulders and arms are studded with stars. Tens, hundreds of them. And the woman goes like, "What was this, baby?" And he says, "That was too hardcore. Don't ask me about that." So she goes, and so it goes. Star after star. Oh yeah. No thank you. I've seen enough of him dead. I can tell...
Go on.
He was a blue-eyed boy with thick arms, from a small town. He was also poor, and the government of Oranje needed some people killed, so they turned him into a grotesque killer. He went to Killer Academy in Vredefort. Then he killed some people on the Seminine Islands, and on other islands too. All of the islands. After this, he came to Revachol and got killed himself. Change of topic, perhaps? A real rainbow splattering of pharmaceuticals, I bet. How much does the toxicology report cost the police of Revachol? I can do it for half of that. Save you?
It's quite expensive, miss. But we'll manage without your help for now. All right.
Coolly, gracefully, she pours herself more coffee. Wait, stop. That man, bloated beyond all recognition, was below the damage, the weeks of decomposition. How old are you? You could ask either one of them.
Huh. How?
She's buying time to formulate the best art. Look who's finally awake.
I don't know. 40? I was like 9 when OO peaked. That was what? Let's say you were...
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yes, miss, but for him that number is 56.
Wait. This requires sign to the laboratorium.
It's you again. What is it? Why? Sounds like you want to push this steaming pile of shit on anyone. Ruby's one of us. We're not gonna throw her under your moral intern steamroller. Fuck.
And fuck you too, moral
Ruby is missing. If you hide from the police in a murder investigation, you become a suspect. You know how it works, guy.
That's nothing. That's just legalese. You don't even have a sound theory.
I think we'll keep sticking around, Titus. You'll be surprised at how quickly a theory presents itself if you keep looking.
A sudden flash of lightning in your neocortex. The hostel cafeteria is lit by its airy blaze. A massive activity spike in the amygdala copicum, the part cops use to pin murders on people.
Because she was here.
He's cobbling together shit so he can put...
She was here all night? 11:30 to 12:15? She was here during all that time?
Yeah, with us, drinking, near the stage there.
No. Alright, she took a fucking leak, okay? For one moment. Maybe went out too. She has an operation to run from her lorry. We're not getting into what, and just 'cause she was gone for 5...
He's been through it. That means he suspected her too. Alright, we're in. We got Ruby unaccounted for sometime during the window. This was crucial. Now let's place her on that roof.
How? People say there was a pinball.
East Delta Pinball Arcade. Weird place.
Okay, but how'd you get up? There's no room for...
The elevator is outside the building. It's an old dumbwaiter used for moving pinball machines up and down. Ruby could have gone up, shot him, come down. All under 7 minutes.
That's quite the theory. We need to have a look at that secret passage, boys.
I'm on it, boss. Right when the law clears, me and Ank...
It's a dumbwaiter, not an industrial lift. How about I go instead of...
Shush now. You got something else to back this route up? Or is that it? Footprints. Recent. That close, huh? How fortunate. I'll take a thorough look at those prints myself before... Good news is, I'm still listening. I don't like guessing, Carl.
It opens the steel door in the kitchen, the one that leads upstairs to the roof. This key was right here, with you, all the time.
Quit jumping to conclusions, Theo. You took that key. Did it look like it was recently put there?
Now, the ribbon was old, faded. It had been there for 20 years at least.
Why?
It doesn't fit well, but it fits, and he knows it.
I've seen the winch. I'm not blind. That's one mystery down then. An architectural mystery. Doesn't much concern Ruby, does it? Right. What the fuck does that got to do with Ruby?
Wow, man, can we?
That'd be awesome. I beat that royalist machine 20 times now.
All right. We can get the barman to bring them down. What else? Why not? You can't draw a straight line into Clausia's window from any of the surrounding buildings. Not from what? Maybe from the coast. But like I said, I've been too big. 72%. There's a percentage and all. Where'd you get it from? Your guys in the lab? No, you can't. I know what you did here on the weekend. People talk. What they say doesn't...
Those numbers were an ass pull, man.
Yeah, and they don't put hair on the roof either. It's just mambo jambo. He hasn't got shit.
Firmly doesn't go well with could've. There's a route to the roof. Me and the boys need to check it out. But a route does not put that bullet in his head. A gun to...
Phase 2. Murder weapon. Get a gun in her hand. If not that, then at least a shadow of a doubt. In the shape of a gun.
That looks antique. A Belle McGrave. It's inoperable. Where'd you get it?
20, maybe 30 rifles, Titus. Also broken, but still, there were too many. And there must be other caches too.
God damn it. We need to close that dump down for good.
Okay, I see your point. There are guns lying around. Damn it. I thought we'd found all the old spots. Why was that still there?
We just missed one. Ruby doesn't know this place, boss. Just these cops digging up.
So
it had to come from a breech-loading rifle. Military grade. Not even you militia monkeys have. This goes against your short-range theory. If the murder weapon was military grade, how did Ruby get it?
You just showed him a breech-loading gun.
A broken old broomstick is what you showed me. But point taken.
Time to really close the deal. Show them the bullet. The blonde man looks at the mushroomed deathbringer in the evidence bag.
Yeah, the bitch is jacketed all right. 4 mil...
Whoa. Well, goddamn. It's not proof, but it's a possible murder weapon. Close to her. You have been thorough. I'll give you that. Yes, goddammit, I know what a 72% chance means. It means there's a 28% chance.
Just making sure we are on the same page. It doesn't all fit. We are just sharing info, candidly.
All right, keep talking. I'm getting a bit...
T, we're not seriously considering it, are we? Ruby wouldn't do this. Why would she do something like this?
Phase 3. Motive. The last component.
And I suppose you have a theory on that.
Think about it. Why go through all that effort? It was her idea, wasn't it? The hanging. You went along, but she suggested it.
She had, like, a fully formed plan and shit. Right when she came back downstairs.
Really, Shanks? Claudia wanted to talk to another girl, that's all. She was just the first one up there. I could have come up with that plan if I'd have been first.
Time for a logics demonstration. He scoffs.
Think. You kill him. Get up there. Shoot him. Get down.
The man is silent.
If she used us to cover her own shit up, well, that's a serious violation of the Hardy Code, boss.
Which is why she didn't. She would never do that. Why aren't more of you defending her? This is fucking stupid, Titus.
Glenn, I thought the same thing when she skipped town and left us in this shit.
Oh, so he didn't rule her out completely. And she skipped town. This is good. Silence. He looks around the room. The old man in the corner. A very small nod. And a trickle of tobacco spit on his lip.
Yeah, I see it. There's one more thing I've been wondering about. Ever since you asked me where she is. Add it to your list of suspicions, if you want. I don't know where she went. She just got up and left. Got real scared, too. Wouldn't tell me where. However, she was afraid I would tell you. Maybe she was right. By now, I probably would.
She knew there's evidence on her, and she knew we'd find it. This is typical suspect behavior, why fleeing is always incriminatory.
Perhaps. Ask her if you find her. It won't be easy, though. She made sure of that. Friday afternoon, when you first arrived, I got word the RCM. I told you. You. Yes, you. The cop with the sideburns and the disco clothes. Sure. You know, when I first saw you limping here, I thought she was paranoid or sniffing her own supply. But she said you have a funny taste in clothes. Until you have something on her. She said she's heard of you from Jamrock, that you're a human can opener, that you play suspects against each other.
Fucking hell. Titus, did he just...
Open Angus up like a can? Yes, he did. Now, we can whine about it.
Silence. He nods.
You are insistent.
Yeah, there was something else. She wouldn't tell me, though. I could see she wanted to. It was burning on her lip a little.
Where have you looked for her?
More precisely, on the coast, past the waterlog. She's not here, so I'm thinking.
Who's doing this looking? They're all here.
Lizzie needed some air. You're a smart cop, but you're a stupid person. No one goes to tell Everard anything. If he has to know, he has to know fast.
It's called a radio, you believe. The gardener may have played you a game when she stormed out. She has her own plan.
She's not far. We know that much. She didn't take her lorry.
Good fucking luck, man. She knows this place like the back of her hand.
Yeah, Al. And we won't either.
She's not really a Hardy candidate anymore, is she?
She's not, Glenn. Sure, there's some shithouses there. A cinderblock town. Fisherfolk there refuse to unionize. So, that's one place. I hear they have a shack where junkies sometimes crash.
We will start there. One more question. What does Ruby look like?
Boyish. Hair's red. Dyed. She looks like a Lowry man. The what now?
She said she's building a...
What?
We were talking about radio equipment. She said she's doing Ulan frequencies and a hail something. I don't know more.
This guy barely understands what he's talking.
There you have it. Hail some. It'll have to.
His grip is firm and reassuring, like holding a piece of unpolished granite. Not just granite, tightly packed RCM Sergeant material. No, he already is. You think you have a pretty hot suspect right now, don't you? Notice how it came together without anything struck you a bit off about this mishmash? Absolutely. It could have come. Good point. It is rather rare these days. True. Strange how you conducted the... No, they didn't. Notice how this hasn't come up at all. That's right. Don't listen. You finally made it, haven't you? Where did that man get such a cool... You are very dangerous, my friend.
Yes? Yes. I'm not really sure, but...
Damage.
Either way, good on you.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural? Hello again, officers. Have you...
I don't believe it. I've never known those.
The bemusement in her voice doesn't fully mask genuine...
There'll never be skulls, but their hearts are in the right place.
She throws you a conspiratorial glance.
Have you noticed the quiet? Every so often, you might hear a gunshot pierce the air somewhere in Jamrock. But in Martinez, this place is a sepulchre. We'll paint it red. We bring the raucous. You bring the sirens.
I'll just keep the cord in. Hi, ma'am. And it's a jetty, by the way. Of course. Jetty. I prefer it. Hello, detectives. It's good to see you here.
What brings you here, madame?
Nothing, really. How do I like it?
Water drips down eaves of Eternite. The smell of salt and dog shit in the background.
It's pornographically poor. The street has no name. All the men are dead or missing. And is that the carcass of a motor carrier? I'm surprised that woman hasn't put me to the sword yet. Maybe she will.
Dark eyes survey the coast leading.
Fortunately for you, madame, the RCM is on the scene.
Oh, I'm not frightened.
Above you, there forms a quilt of altocumulus clouds, twisting into each other. Their cloud shadows slide over the...
Have I told you how they discovered this place? No. They're in Celindian, East. I'm guessing you don't know then. Well, your condition has left you no worse off than most of these people. The literacy rate is around 45% west of the river. 50 years of occupation. I knew you would sympathize. Remind me to tell you one day. For now, Godspeed, Detective.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're back. Good.
She reaches for the photo, takes it for about half a minute. She wears fingerless gloves. Her fingernails are cut short and fractured, like those of...
It was taken with a trigette not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eye...
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars. I can't. But that's close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways. A sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Preto Grande, through what I think must Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor. And these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but...
In Martinez, looking into Krenel, he writes in one.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. Mercenary tattoos. The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of...
Where is he now?
That is precisely what the sailors... His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade. I am relieved you think so. I don't... Is there anything else I can help you with? Of course. Anything to help. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. The waves are beginning to die down. Look at those... Oh? Who? Okay. When did this person stay here? Oh. I've been out on the sea for most of the past week. The weather's been good for fishing, so... Yes, that's the optimal time. Got to make the most of the calm. Sorry I couldn't help you out. Maybe I can help you... Well, how can I assist you then, officer?
mister. Luby. Luby. My mum tells me I'm a big girl, but she doesn't know that I can't say Earl. Or like...
Kids.
It's Lammy!
Lambie is a stuffed lamb that, admittedly, has seen better days.
Lammy usually doesn't like strangers. Bye!
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone while the other watches him do it.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the... Nay, I have...
Because she's blind, which you seem to have forgotten.
This is a sharp one.
She's being evasive. She knows something.
There was a murder in Martinez. She might be a suspect. We would appreciate you.
Would you now? I know how this world works, and it doesn't work when people tell on each other. No, it's not like that, man. With him we called you. Right now, you just arrived by yourself, like a raven plucking at the window glass. There's not much to tell. People come and go.
I see, ma'am. I hope...
You should look around your shack. Maybe she's rented it. As you look at the floorboards in this corner of the shack, it's clear one of them isn't quite level. The edge of a floorboard next to it looks scratched. Hollow space underneath the floorboards is dark and damp. You can bet nothing particular catches your eye. Something bad. Someone's night thoughts. You stick your hand in and start combing through the sand. Dry, not like outside. A small cylindrical object. You pull it out. A bullet. A 9mm bullet, to be exact. Fit for all muzzle loaders. The floorboard isn't interested. Maybe the washerwoman is. It's extra ammunition. She's locked and loaded, ready to fight some cops. On the table, you see a bowl of water. Thank God you didn't go in there bare-handed. Death smell is notoriously difficult to get off yourself and your clothes, though. But man persists, and after 15 minutes pass, you look almost presentable.
Our tenant, the policeman. Damn that girl.
And without anger, a long and harsh life has taught her not to buckle under pressure.
But you didn't put it there, did you? She...
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either. Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl. As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear. We welcome all kinds of people. She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. What has she gotten herself into?
That's for the police to find out. Right then, please answer each question to the best of...
Yes, early with the dogs, around 8 o'clock, I think. I cleaned it, like I always do. No.
The truth, sire.
She's good company. Knows how to talk to an old woman. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation. So...
Did she talk to you much during her last...
No, she was mostly silent this time. She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun.
You could ask her about your hunch.
Do tell. Exit from what?
The lieutenant stops writing for a moment. He looks at you.
No, she's a fighter.
She really believes that.
Not that I know of, though she was into nice music. She once showed me a few mixtape millions she'd made. Although I guess she was pretty handy with the mechanical and technical stuff. Even fixed the heater in the shack.
She may simply have kept the equipment elsewhere.
I don't know. Further up the coast, she tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on that door screeched.
It's a peninsula. She might be trapped.
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just arrived.
I wouldn't worry about that, man. We are persistent.
Yes, it's going to be too much work for you to find her. Better for you to stay here, get a nice cozy fire going in the heater.
The felled electric mural.
One thing, officer. If you do find her, please go easy on her.
She really means it. It's an honest plea.
She's a good girl. Whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in.
An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it.
From here to the whirling, I can't see how. The church is in the way.
Is there something here that would indicate a snipe? The wind picks up. Fine sea foam lashes your face. In the distance, you can hear the breakers roar.
I don't see it, Lieutenant W. Freitor. I don't see a person take a shot here and hit something there. It's not possible to climb that ladder. And even if it were, why? There's no platform up there to aim from.
He looks like he's cold out here at the tip of the coast. The jacket is warm.
I'm okay. You, on the other hand, Freitor, you look like you're about to turn into a popsicle. Absolute idiocy. To warm his hands before pulling the trigger? Perhaps, but anyone could have made this. The coast is specked with fire. Truthfully, this seems like a very poor choice to take a 1.2 kilometer rifle shot from. Visibility those? A smoking assailant who favors Timotire to Astra or Joanne?
Still, you felt it was important enough to make a mental note. There, 1.2 kilometers over the cold water, a glowing light on the third floor of the Whirling in Rags. With binoculars, you would see a young woman smoking, drink. tracks are as they have ever been. A bit more worn, perhaps.
No wonder the cafeteria manager... Well, you did provide us with...
The kid. Whoa, a bridge with loose nails and rot-infested wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation if there ever was one.
True, they never cleaned up the war damage. The rest of Revachol looks better, though. The bridge is fine enough. Look.
Hello again, officers. Have you come? Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire?
They do say the painter always paints his own portrait.
That's pretty fucked up. Even for you, piggo. You're a real sad sack. You know that? Go ahead then. Art it up. Just try not to hurt yourself. And no, sure, anytime. Us shit artists have to help one another.
You know what you've got in that fuel canister. The paintbrush in your hand is like a loaded revolver. What will it be, Desperado? Quite a few things come to mind. You've spoken. The wall will now silently repeat the message for a decade or so, until the sea air degrades the paint, adding another layer of detritus to the city.
Very poetic. Real poetry. Should we return to our murder investigation? I hear there's a really bad one we are supposed to solve.
girl is...
Now it's turning into a kind of...
This found the smell of cigarettes. There's something odd about the passenger seat. The seating fabric has been put... Voila.
Bonne prise. Best not to disturb the scene.
The stack of maps looks just like before. Barely looks like...
Strange. There's...
The ghostly actually closed the road.
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
Hell no. It just has to be... The man's breathing steadies, but his eyes are still narrow. Slowly.
Don't think so.
Suddenly, this feels like a really, really bad idea.
Actually, I think we should maybe even get going now.
This is the night what? You're back before the cargo container. Its draw has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly. You attempt. To your left, the lieutenant considers your...
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
door is closed again. You hear someone inside.
Hello again, officers. Have you...
Vigilance officer, what can this old carabiner do for you? Vigilance officer, what can this old carabiner do for you?
Go long, go deep, go unconventional.
Sure, officer. Let's hear your take. I'm not following you.
He'll get it. Don't worry. Just continue. He's gonna be impressed. The man stares at you. Doesn't look like he's imagining it. The carabiner crosses his arms and spits in the crater.
You're talking about getting blackout shit-faced drunk and going into delirium, right?
The lieutenant looks up from his notes and nods to the old carabiner.
And I thought getting my knee shattered and surviving on rat carcasses in the trench was bad. Here, have one of my medals. You've earned it, officer.
Your sarcasm will be your undoing, old man. Extremely rigid principles this old soldier has. Don't...
Of course not.
Can we get back to our game now?
He mumbled. You certainly had me fooled.
It is such a pleasure to see you.
The kid. The man is... The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
All right. I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands.
The kid doesn't...
Hello, hello. Let me know if I can help you with anything. Sure, let me have a look. Anything else you're thinking of selling? I'm not purchasing another time back.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets display. This set of soldiers...
I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. Maybe.
They're not all blue. That they do.
Which one?
Big men.
A classic set.
All the old... A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps.
You keep coming back! That's good of it!
The speakers below are banged up and worthless. The sneakers try.
The shine on these sunglasses lasts a lifetime, officer. 100%. Everything's still good.
The mother of humanism stands up. Why? That does seem to be a problem. Maybe you meant something else? I don't know. What are we thinking of? Part of your mind has gone on to only a strange little sack. The mother of humanism towers up. They really have an interesting setup here. Like kids preparing for a school. I'm sure you did. You haven't
This? Oh, we're trying to see if we can come up with some cool new special effects to add to the visual aspect of our club experience.
We tinker with things.
Some chemicals, when mixed, can, you know, change colour or sort of blow up.
Blow up! Blow up!
Not like, you know, in a dangerous way. Or, well, besides, did you know that smell experiences are all the rage now at the most forward...
Very big in art circle.
The lead programmer turns to look at you for a moment. Her gaze impact.
I hope you get to experience...
On the table, the water reflects. Holding the gun feels natural and satisfying. It reminds you of the day you first held it, with fear and respect. Sheathe your sidearm, officer. A serious law official, cop by the book. The bed is comfortable. You sit on the wind-worn wooden planks of the bench. You finally stop picking your nose. Time passes. The bright sun. Time passes. The bright sun blazes. The twiddling barely keeps your hat. Time passes. The sun. Oh man, if we invited Guillaume Le Million here. Time passed. The bright sun blazed. Time passed. The evening Time passes. The evening The twiddling barely.
Our tenant, the policeman. What more do you want to... Yes.
The waves are beginning to die down. Look at those.
You're back. Good. What? Of course. Anything to help. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. Of course. Of course. What we do.
She nods.
Oh. Stupendous. That's beautiful.
Keeping her calm. Perfect posture. Her...
A Villiers 9mm. Front-loaded. 2 or 3-barreled. Mm-hmm. Villiers and LaSalle was one of the original 14... What else? It helps to sometimes hold inventory of the things you've achieved, you know. Clears the soul.
Is what you're about to say when a cold streak runs through your heart. Once said, there is no going back, Harry.
A takeover. If they're taking it...
Green livery, changing into red. blocked by...
Then we're talking about a war. Evrart needs to let me into the harbor at once. We need to talk about this. An insane goal. Crenel has 1,000 men on their payroll. The next batch will be a platoon of 20 men and a gunship. The one after that, 100. You think Crenel is the only contractor Wild Pines employs? They'll only be the start. More will come. The question is, what do you suggest I do? Everything affects the decision-making process, Detective. Of course. Your job is to clean up after them. What will I do?
Her arms fall to her sides.
Did I ever tell you how they discovered this Isla? It may be the only break we've ever caught as a species. The nations who colonized this Isla called theirs Muindi, the world. It was all they knew. All they thought would be. That there would be something more was a gamble. The Pale was thought to be impregnable, perpetual. Irene la Navigateur, the Queen of Suren, sent 8 expeditions, one after the other, into the mass at the edge of the world. 5 of the crews did not return. 2 did, but had lost their minds. It was anything but normal. There was no precedent. People thought she was punishing the admirals, or had gone mad. Until after years of trial and error, and the development of a strict psychological regime imitating the creation process of poetry. The 8th expedition returned sane and intact. They told of a new continent of matter. They told the Queen and her counselor, Dolores Day, that the Pale had begun to condense, day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute, slowly raining down until it formed a vast ocean.
The air is cold and scented with petrichor. There are rain circles on water all around. The droplets feel warm.
The phenomenon has never again been encountered. For a time, the crew thought they were experiencing a hallucination. The mass hand proclaimed, "Lancielinde, Lancielinde," but they could not. They were sane and conscious. As islands began to appear on the horizon, there are 78,000 uninhabited islands in the Insulindian archipelago, officer. The freckle après la vie, la mort. Après la mort, la vie encore. Après la mort, le grille.
After life, death. After death, life again.
On the second day, a great skua was shot down above the flagship Lézargique. The bird was preserved and brought back, along with pollen. 4 years later, the Queen's Counsellor was proclaimed Her Innocence Dolores Day, the elected world spirit. The age of humanism, internationalism, and parliamentary rule followed. We were high. The first living, autonomous organism. Proof of reality. It's the symbol of Insulinde, Detective. The coat of arms of the suzerain and the wings on the crest of the commune. In your defense, it is a nasty creature who plucks food from the throats of lesser birds. Yet much like Revachol, it is also magnificent and rare. Imagine the suzerain of sea on Caillou. The Pebble, the largest of the fertile, uninhabited islands of the northeast Insulindian archipelago. 4 centuries and 2 revolutions. The nations of Mundi proceeded to discover 5 more Isolae. Or they discovered us. All in the rush of the great inter-Islary reconnect. But these others weren't uninhabited. We had to kill people there. Wipe out indigenous populations. Gunboat economies. Or they came to do the same for us. Or had done to each other. But here, there was no one but the skua. The Liliat Seya, and the Blood Beach, revolution, poverty. It is. Soon it will. I will surrender Terminal B to the Union.
She puts her hand in the rain. She's...
We will see.
And what about the next time?
What happens will happen. The age of capital has only begun. I will talk to my employers in person. We will amputate and cauterize Master.
Forget about that. What was that about the age of capital only?
Harry, I will try keep the best interest. On the contrary, Detective, keep the peace, and I will keep my end of the bargain. The confrontation is imminent. They have followed in your... As your investigation reaches a climax, so does theirs. They are your shadow. Arm yourselves. Protect their targets. Violence may be unavoidable, but we can limit the casualties. Soon. I do not know precisely. They have cut off all communication, you see. One last thing, Lieutenant Dubois. I've given the matter much thought and come to this conclusion. You're not an amnesiac. You're insane. I know, because I too am insane. I just hide my illness better. And I'm rich. I'm overexposed, baby. My travels take me through the Pale dozens of times a year. I've got the longing, and I've got it bad.
She would die to return to it.
No, Detective. No one's as insane as you. The same strict psychological regimen the 8th Admiral developed when he crossed the Pale and discovered this Isola, the Volta do Mar. It's used by inter-Islary travelers and other troubled souls, even to this day.
You could use a little of it yourself.
Watch out for yourself. They will strike soon.
Slowly, the sails turn. It's getting late. The bed is comforting. The bed underneath you is soft, if lumpy. Waves wash the sand underneath the hut, then grow distant to your ear. In the quiet hum of the organic heater, you fall asleep.